would be nice if there was a one-size-fits-all path to success, wouldn't it? But an individual's blueprint for success is as unique as their fingerprints are. I'm Gary Cornwell, president of Galactic Performance Solutions. As someone who didn't come from much, I had to come a long way to get where I am today. In the end, I did find my way, and I want to help you find yours too. I may not have the exact answers for your circumstance and how to build a successful life, but what I know for sure is that you have those answers within yourself. Welcome to Beyond the Blueprint, the podcast that focuses on helping you become the best, brightest, and most financially secure version of yourself. Hello, and welcome back to Beyond the Blueprint, the show where we go beyond the one-size-fits-all strategy and focus on helping you build your blueprint, your way, not somebody else's. We dig into building a positive mindset, developing personal leadership, and creating the kind of long-term success that actually feels good on the inside. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're diving into what I believe is the most important investment that you'll ever make. No, it's not stocks. It's not real estate. It's not even a business. It's you. The most powerful way to move yourself closer to your dreams, financially, emotionally, and professionally, is to invest in yourself. It's the ultimate investment, actually. So why is it the ultimate investment? Well, success begins internally. Everything in your life flows from within inside you. The self-belief, your knowledge, your energy, your habits, your confidence, everything. When you grow, your results grow. And when you wither, your results wither. So you have a choice. Which direction do you want to go? It multiplies your earning power and your fulfillment. Better skills, better communication, better health. These things make you more valuable in the marketplace, and they make you more present in your relationships. And these things don't happen magically. Your skills don't magically get better. You have to be thoughtful. You have to be focused on that. You have to spend time in investing in how do you make your skills better. You don't become a better communicator just by accident. You also have to focus on that. Be purposeful. Obviously, that doesn't just happen magically. This is an area where I'm personally trying to focus on recently. Sometimes you even know what you're supposed to do, but you don't take the time to do it. So I am trying to be very focused and to focus on this area for myself. So again, these are things that you will never stop doing. It's not like you're going to graduate. These are things that you're going to continue to learn, continue to improve on over the rest of your life. And as I mentioned, all of these things, they make you more valuable in the marketplace, but they also make you much more valuable in your relationships, whether that's with family, friends, coworkers, business associates, everywhere. You guys know how much I like Warren Buffett, so we need to start with another Warren Buffett quote. And he said it more than once. Warren Buffett says, the best investment that you can make is in yourself. And he's not talking about stocks. He's talking about your ability to grow, adapt, and lead. So let me take a few minutes to give you some examples, some real world examples of people that I have either run across or read about or have some kind of knowledge of how they've improved themselves over time. So I met a young lady named Melinda a couple of years ago. I think she was 24 at the time. I met her at a charity event, and she was actually working one of the booths at the charity event, and struck up a conversation with her. At the time, she was a customer service rep at a call center. That's what she did full time. She was volunteering at the nonprofit event. Anyway, I struck up a conversation with her, and somehow or another, we came across the fact that my background is in programming. I have a degree in computer science, and I used to be a programmer. Anyway, that's something that Melinda was interested in. She didn't have a degree. She didn't know where to start. She didn't know what languages to focus on. So we just started talking, and she was very nice. And so I gave her some advice. I talked to her about some things that I had done in the past, and some things that I thought would work for her if she kind of went down that road. But the choice was up to her. The year after that, I ran into her again. Again, she's probably, I think, 25, 26. Anyway, between the time that I first met her, and I didn't talk to her again until the next year at the charity event, she took action and she decided she was going to, in her mind, make herself a better life. She felt stuck in her job before. She felt underpaid. She just wasn't enjoying it. She just didn't enjoy it. She wanted to do something else. So she did. She took action. She started dedicating her lunch breaks. She would take classes online. And so she started coding. First, she started doing some HTML markup. Then she started doing some active stuff. And she used some platforms online. I think she used Code Academy. She watched a lot of YouTube videos, she told me. First, she started doing projects that she saw on there. She tried to replicate them without seeing what the answers were. She tried to create it for herself. And then she started coming up with her own projects and, submitted them to some online chat forums and asked for advice and asked for critiques. Long story short, she taught herself how to code in that amount of time. Now, she wasn't a high level coder by any stretch of the imagination within that amount of time, but she taught herself enough that she was able to change jobs. She told me she struggled quite a bit at the beginning. Again, she didn't feel like she knew where to start. She didn't know how much time to commit to it. She didn't know if the time that she was committing to it was a waste of time. But within that year, she started building a few small websites and she added to her portfolio. And she ended up, right before I saw her at the second year event, she did get an entry level web developer role at a small marketing company in Arlington, Texas. And she was absolutely ecstatic. And it was fun to hear her talk about it because she was so excited. So for her, the way that she invested in herself was taking the time to do so. She did spend a little bit of money on different things that she needed to be able to do the coding. She rented some space. She did a domain and a place where she could store some files. So she'd spent a tiny bit of money, but the vast majority of what she did, she just grinded it out. She did her own work. She worked hard. She started off, I think I mentioned, she started off maybe 30 minutes a day. And she got to the point where she was doing this almost like a second job in the evenings after she got off of her paid job. And she treated it like that. She treated it like another job, even though she was not getting paid at all. She was getting paid through learning the skill. So she worked hard and she invested in herself and it paid off in dividends. Melinda's not unique. I'm proud of her. I'm glad that she did what she did, but you could do the same thing too. Not necessarily coding. That might not be something you have a passion for, but something else, something that's going to help you improve yourself, whether that's financially, whether that's emotionally, whether that's spiritually. There are so many ways that if you invest in yourself, that the improvements will flow over into other parts of your life that you had no idea that learning this new skill, no matter what the skill was. Let's say you were going to take time to read the Bible and you were going to focus on praying more. And you do that. And by doing that, it taught you to be consistent. And that being consistent then worked its way into something that you're doing within your job. And your consistency gets noticed and you get promoted. It's amazing to me how anything that's positive will ripple and have echoes through your life. So, like I said, I was really proud of her. Take her as an example of one way that a person invested in themselves. I recently read a book. I think I know I mentioned in previous podcasts that I read. I don't read as much as some people, and I don't read novels. I tend to read either biographies or business books or things like that. But anyway, recently I read a book about Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz is the former CEO of Starbucks. He's actually been the CEO a couple of times. And he started off a poor kid in Brooklyn in a housing project with limited resources. And he saw firsthand how financial instability disrupted his family, and he didn't want to have any part of that. So he made education the priority. He worked hard. He earned a football scholarship. He worked hard on the football field. He got a scholarship to, I think it was Northern Michigan University. I don't think it was Michigan. I'm pretty sure it was Northern Michigan University. Anyway, he played ball there and he graduated. Playing ball itself, I can say this, I have two sons that have both, well, I have a daughter who is also in athletics. My youngest son is the only one who's still in athletics. He's still in high school, but I see the level of commitment that he has getting up early when so many of his friends that aren't playing ball are not doing the same thing. But he sticks it out. He's consistent. And it just that alone tells me that he's going to take that into other parts of his life. Well, that's what Howard Schultz did as well. He used those football skills at Northern Michigan. And after he graduated, he got a job in sales and kind of did sales for a while, but he worked hard and he knew he wanted to do something more than that. Oh, and there's this kid that grew up in semi-rural Arkansas who started off not knowing any direction other than the dirt road that led from his grandparents' house down to the main road where he would sometimes catch a school bus. So that kid is me. And, the school that I went to, I was elementary at the time, elementary school that I went to didn't have a whole lot of resources. They did end up with a program that taught kids or tried to teach kids how to do basic programming in DOS on an old TRS-80 at a Radio Shack. And I was lucky enough to be selected to go into one of those. And that started my love for computers right then. Well, we left there due to some issues within my family that we were dealing with. And we moved to Oklahoma and continued my education, went up through school, graduated high school, and decided that I was going to be the first person to attend college in my family. I didn't have any support, no way to do it, had no idea how I was going to do it. Tried to watch what other people were doing and figure it out. Again, when I say I had no support, that sounds negative, and I don't mean it in a negative way. My family didn't know. They had no idea how to even go to college. They had no idea how to even get accepted. So anyway, I don't want to linger on that. The point is that I started school and I ran out of money. And so I joined the military to get the money to continue my education. But at the same time, I wanted to go to class while I was active duty in order to kind of speed things up or to where I could graduate when everybody else my age was going to graduate. Unfortunately for me, a war broke out while I was in the military. It actually started when I was in boot camp. And the beginnings of it before it was an actual war. Anyway, I didn't have the opportunity to take a single class while I was active duty, but I did get the GI Bill and the Army College Fund so that when I got out, I could continue my education. When I did get out, I met a woman who was not my current wife, but she had a daughter that I fell in love with and decided I wanted to be her family and I wanted to help take care of her and her mother. And so I did that and I got a job, but I continued my education. The only reason this is pertinent to the story is that it took me 11 years to graduate from college. From the time I started, went into the military, got out, got a job, supported a family. And by the time I actually got my degree, I didn't really need it anymore because I was already doing the job that I was trying to get a degree for because I started doing it myself in the evenings by teaching myself how to code in addition to the classes that I was taking. I did that on the evenings and on the weekends. It was one of the ways that I would decompress from my day job, so to speak. So by the time I did get the degree, I didn't really technically need it anymore, but I said I was going to do it, so I did. And life continues. my career continues, start a couple of businesses, sell a couple of businesses, journey continues. But the entire time, I am learning other things. I don't just want to code. I want to be involved in real estate. I want to be involved in agriculture. I want to be involved in construction. I want to be involved. There's all these things. And when I meet new people and I see what they do, and if I think it's interesting, sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I want to do a little bit of that. So I mentioned it in I think the first podcast, that I consume content in an educational way every single day, even now. And so investing in myself, whether that is through a online course or a YouTube video, there is so much you can learn from YouTube that it's ridiculous. There are so many things you can learn through either free courses. At least you can start with a free course. And then if you see that you enjoy it or you have an aptitude for it, you can pay for an additional course. There's really nothing nowadays that you can't start and get an intermediate level knowledge of or experience in by going online and just consuming everything you can get your hands on. So you can do that. Watch YouTube videos, read books, take courses, join groups. There are local real estate groups that you can find mentors for in that, if that's something that you're interested in. Now, what I will say is you got to be careful with all this stuff, because especially with groups or things like that or courses, sometimes the course is not exactly what they say it is. Sometimes it's a money grab. And sometimes with the groups that you go to, there are, just like anywhere else, there are unscrupulous people in different places. So you just have to be careful what you do, what you say, how open you are with what you've got going on, things like that. But there is a plethora of things out there that you can do to increase your value in any way that you decide that you want to. So investing in yourself is really the beginning of anything that you want to do. And even if you don't know that you're investing in yourself when you're learning something new, let's take sales, for example. I was talking about Howard Schultz and being a good salesperson. To be a good salesperson, for me, in my opinion, part of it is kind of natural. It's just who you are. Part of it can be learned, but part of it is just who you are. So the way you become who you are is you interact from the time that you could speak, or even before that, with other people. You learn how to build relationships. You learn how to read body language. You learn all these things. And so a baby that's doing that, who ends up being a salesperson and a qualified good salesperson, may not know that they're actually investing in themselves by just being an outgoing person. But there are other ways that you will have to invest in yourself knowingly to get anywhere you want to go. I don't care if you decide you want to be a airline pilot or a bookkeeper or a police officer or a receptionist. All these things you're working towards by bettering yourself or learning different things. So how do you invest in yourself even when you don't have a huge budget? So there's lots of free and low cost ways that you can do that. So you've heard me say many times and talk about books. Well, you don't even have to buy them. A library card is free, and I think everywhere I've ever been, the library card is free. Now, they don't necessarily have every single book that you would want, but they have a lot. They have a way for you to get started. But a lot of stuff is available online. You can get synopsis of different books that you can see and read and absorb parts of it to know if it's worth your $20 or $30 or whatever it is that you're spending on the book. And like I've mentioned in the past, every dollar that you spend on educating yourself is like planting a seed that can grow into a plant that is just going to keep producing over and over and over and over and over again. So be careful what you do spend your money on, but don't be afraid to spend money on things that bring you value. I've mentioned YouTube tutorials a lot. And you can learn everything from how to fix a belt on a washing machine to how to manage your money, how to start a business, how to improve your relationships, improve your mindset. There's so much. How to be grateful, how to practice gratitude. All of these things are available on YouTube. Again, be careful what you consume and don't be afraid to stop or unsubscribe from somebody if their direction changes or anything like that. But there's so much available out there that is free and you can just watch it. There's podcasts. And I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about any podcast that brings you value, whether it's a video podcast or an audio podcast, doesn't really matter. As long as it's bringing you value and it's bettering your life in one way, shape, or form, then, it's something you should consider. Exercise and drink more water. Exercise can be free. You can walk around the block. That's another way of investing in yourself. That's a way of not only keeping you healthy, but keeping you in balance so that you don't tip one way or the other as far as you spend too much time trying to work on something or too much time trying to learn a new skill. You're taking time to actually take care of your body. So that is a free, and if you join a gym, gyms nowadays are, most of them, not all of them, a lot of gyms nowadays are relatively inexpensive. So that's a low cost way for you to improve yourself. I've mentioned this before, and it might not be for everybody, and I don't do it in like the form of journaling necessarily. I've tried to do it a couple of times. I do believe in it. I haven't been consistent in it because I have such a busy schedule with everything else. I know that's an excuse, and excuses shouldn't be allowed. I don't like to allow excuses. I just haven't taken the time to do it. Maybe one of these days I'll figure out. And part of it was that I would start a journal and then I'd lose it. I mentioned before that I lose notepads and things like that because I'm always on the go. I'm always moving from here or there. I do most things on my iPad now, and knock on wood, I have not lost the iPad. And I'm on my second one. The first one I burned up as far as it just got old. And I never lost it, and I haven't lost the current one yet. And I hope that doesn't happen. So maybe I'll start journaling in that because I do believe there's power in it. When you journal, you can talk about your goals. You can openly talk about your fears in a journal entry that you might not be willing to talk about to other people. So if it's something that you feel, and just try it. If you don't continue it, you don't continue it. But there's a lot of power in journaling. And like I've mentioned in the previous episodes, and I'll talk about it again in this one, even though I don't consider it journaling, I do write things down. I tell you guys at the end of each podcast that I believe in you. Write that down. There's power in writing things down. And so it's just logical to me that by journaling, there would be power in that also. There's also a lot of free local and online community stuff that is outside of business that will help you improve your overall well-being. One of the things that I would like to do, and I haven't found a good place to do it yet, is I really want to improve my Spanish skills. And so I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that the best way to do that is to spend time speaking Spanish with people in person. A lot of people have said that the best way to learn any foreign language is to go where they speak it and immerse yourself in it and force yourself. Well, I don't have that luxury. And even if I did have the luxury, I don't know that it would be a path that would be exciting to me. So, I'm going to try to find a local community. If it's online, that's great. But for my particular goal, and in this case, I would like for it to be in person because body language, things like that you can read that'll, again, all this is speculation on my part, but hopefully it'll help me learn more. But there are a lot of online communities for other goals as well that are absolutely free that you can get involved in. With a little bit of money, you can take an online course. There are seminars and masterminds that you could attend, whether they're online or in person. Some of them are extremely expensive. And this is, again, all of this is just my opinion. The ones that are extremely expensive, I get worried about because it just feels like a money grab to me. I don't know that that's true, but anybody who tells you, oh, I've got this calling, or you see an advertisement, I've got this calling to share the way that I did this, and I need $1,500 to tell you what I've been drawn to tell you. And well, that's a no-go for me. Start somewhere else, and if you get a personal reference from somebody that has attended that you trust, not just a random person, but somebody that you trust, maybe then go down that road. But there's a lot of them that you could do that don't cost a lot of money that might be worth your time. And, at the end of the day, that's what you're spending on it. You're not just spending money, you're spending your time. And as we mentioned in the last podcast, time is something you need to protect very much. There are coaches, you can hire to do different things. Our son, I've mentioned a lot of times, he's playing football, and he has not only his regular coach, but he has a specialized coach that he goes to. I know a lot of the kids that we know that are really still focused on athletics at the age that they are, which is late high school, is specifically what I'm talking about. Lots of them have additional coaches that it just kind of sets the tone, and I'm convinced that it will lead to greater things in life in the future. With a little money, you can start a side hustle with a small budget, whether that's that you're driving to different parts of town to pick up cans, and the amount that you're spending is just gas, and going to get the stuff and then taking it to the recycling center, things like that. There are all kinds of things that you can do that don't cost a lot, that will help you improve not only where you currently stand, whether, maybe you want that additional money to invest, like we talked about in the last podcast. Maybe you're using that as a way to create contacts for something bigger that you're wanting to do in the future. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different positives that you can get out of anything that you do. I guess that's the main thing that I'm trying to get across with this, is that you may think it's going to benefit you in one area and it can benefit you in 5, 8, 10 others. So you can also, there's, different tools that you can pay a little bit for that'll help you focus and grow. One of the ones, for example, that I mentioned a while back was the budgeting software that I like to use, which is called Monarch. And I'm not trying to sell you Monarch. If you buy it, I get nothing for it, and nor do I want anything for it. The only reason I bring it up it is something that I think I pay $100 a year for it. So if you break that down by month, it's less than $10 a month. And for that $10 a month, it helps me keep track of where everything is. And it helps me keep track of how much we're spending on what category. And as I mentioned, I think on last podcast, money is a cruel mistress. And if you don't know what's going on with your money, it's going to leave you. So I'm a big believer in budgeting software. Monarch just happens to be the one that my family uses. If you don't want to pay the $100 and you find another one, that's great. Use that. And you don't have to use anything. But I believe that within certain things that you do, it's worth a little bit of extra money. So one thing that I try to do is not to confuse cost with value. So if I'm getting more back, if I'm spending $100 a year on the Monarch stuff and I'm getting $500 back in either savings because I'm focused on something or whatever, I've made money. So sometimes you have to invest a small amount in order to get a bigger return back. And sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from the smallest investments, as long as you do them consistently. You can also get emotional and relationship returns by investing in yourself. I mean, some of the things that you're going to do, whether it's the health stuff or really anything, can give you a boost in confidence. So the more you grow in whatever way that you're looking at, the less you second guess yourself. So your self-investment has actually built your self-trust, your self-worth, and people can see that and they respond to it. Not cocky. There's a difference. There's a difference between cocky and confidence. And people respond to and are drawn to confidence. They run the other way from cockiness. Investing in yourself can help you have better relationships all around. So, especially working on your emotional intelligence, for example, or learning to communicate better, or learning that one of the things I learned a while ago, I went to a company sponsored event and it was talking about communication. And it's something that and I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to give you my best version of it. People tend to communicate in three different ways. Their primary way of communication. They're either somebody who is a talker, whether that's face to face or on the phone, or it is somebody who is an emailer. So they respond better through email communication. And then you've got the texters, which is kind of a hybrid between the two. But if you really want to communicate well with somebody, you need to figure out what their primary way of communicating is. And so by investing in taking the time to do that course and learning that, I truly feel like it has bettered my relationships, not just friendships, but within workplace dynamics. It was huge in workplace dynamics, but it can even help within your marriage, your relationship with your kids, your parents, your extended family, your friends. And, a lot of times your friends are the family that you chose. And so being able to communicate with them in the way that makes sense to them is great. But when they see you improving yourself, it will also open them up to you. Investing in yourself and however you do it, and this is not just a monetary thing, but investing in personal growth will bring you more joy and fulfillment in your life. You will never regret becoming a better version of yourself. And people around you will benefit from it too. Like I just mentioned, not only will they be drawn to you, when they see something in you that they want to emulate, it will make them a better person as well. So common excuses, and everybody's got an excuse. I mentioned earlier my excuse about journaling and that, I don't believe in excuses. I don't accept excuses, especially from myself. But some common excuses might be, I don't have time. Well, you don't need hours in a day to start with just something that takes 15 minutes. So wake up a little bit earlier. Use your commute to listen to a podcast or an audiobook. My sister-in-law swears by audiobooks, and she may one of these days convert me. I have mentioned in the past that I prefer to read books because I feel like I absorb them and I retain them more. But there's something to be said for windshield time when I'm driving in my truck going from one place to another. If I can listen to a book, she may convert me. She hasn't yet, but it's very possible. So, while I'm on my commute, and I did listen the other day. I was making a trip back from Amarillo to Dallas, and I did listen to some podcasts in my truck, which was something new for me. So the I don't have time doesn't hold water. You'll make the time to do the things that you want to. I guarantee you're probably spending more time on your phone scrolling through social media than you wish you did. Replace some of that with doing things that are going to better you. People will say, I can't afford it. Well, the internet has thousands of free resources. The internet's a wonderful thing. It's a horrible thing in some cases, as far as some of the things that are out there that are less than appealing, especially if you're a parent. But there's so much out there that's free, so many resources. So there's not really a cost in starting any of that. So I can't afford it, again, doesn't hold water. I don't know where to begin. So that's another thing, people say, I just don't know where to begin. Well, start with what bothers you. What do you want to improve? Do you want to improve your confidence? Do you want to improve your knowledge in how to manage a budget? Do you want to learn a new skill because it's bothering you? Is it bothering you that you don't know how to borrow money to buy an asset? Is it bothering you that you don't understand finances? Do you have an issue within relationships that's bothering you? Pick any one of those areas and grow it. So another guy that I listen to a lot, or have in the past, he passed away recently. His name's Charlie Munger. Charlie was a very, very smart man as far as I'm concerned. He was a great investor. He was partner to Warren Buffett. And a lot of people, and many times Warren will say that Charlie was the smart one of the two. Charlie's definitely the one who scaled everything that the two of them did together. And so Warren would not be, and Berkshire Hathaway in general, would not be nearly as successful as they are without Charlie Munger. And I think he's hilarious, and I think he's very smart. And one of the things that I heard him say, which has stuck with me, and this comes back to, I don't know where to begin, is he would invert things. And what I mean by that is if he wanted to know how to enhance the marketing of a company that they bought, instead of asking himself, how do I enhance the marketing? He would ask himself the opposite. He would say, how can I destroy the marketing? What are the top 3 ways that I could destroy the marketing of this company? And when he would come up with the 3 ways that he could destroy it, he would work as hard as he could to do the opposite of that. And he called it inverting, and he's been extremely successful throughout his life. He passed away. I don't know if he was 99 or he just turned 100. He was right at 100, though. I don't think he quite made it. It was a big loss to people who followed Charlie when he did pass away, but his inversion, it has power to it. So back to, I don't know where to begin. Think about something that bothers you. And if you still don't know, okay, well, that bothers me. Where do I start with that? Invert it. If the thing that's bothering you is that you don't understand finance, well, what are the 3 things that will bankrupt you? And then focus on the inversion of those. And the same holds true with a lot of other things. Just focus on it. You're not necessarily going to have this light bulb that comes off. You're going to have to put some thought into it, but it will come to you. It's within inside you. It's within inside of all of us. So what's your homework for this podcast? So in the next week or so, pick one way to invest in yourself. It could be that you're going to read a book. It could be a magazine article. Take a walk. Take a course. Listen to a podcast that is specifically about something that you're interested in that will help you grow. Whether that's growth through business or growth through your personal life, spiritual life, whatever it is, that could be one of the things you do. You could drink more water. Just drink more water. You'll feel better. Spend less time around people who drain you. Show me your friends. I will show you your future. That is 100% a guarantee. Don't hang around people who will drain you. Don't hang around people who will bring you down. And focus on gratitude. Focus on positivity. Because whatever you think into reality will happen. So whatever it is, commit to it, track it if you can, and repeat it. See what it does for you. If it doesn't do anything, move on to something else. Give it some time, though. Don't be a one and done. Give it some time and see if it will resonate with you. These things are important. Everything that we mentioned today, building on what it is that you're doing, whether it's through business, through the relationships that really are the things that matter most to us, whether it's being a better part of your church community or spending more time volunteering or doing nonprofit types of things. Focus on these things. Your life will improve. A lot of the podcast is talking about how to improve financially, but you have to have the other pieces in your life solid in order for you to truly improve on the financial side as well. I want you to remember, I usually say this, I say this to almost every young man that I talk to about their future, but it holds true for everybody. I want you to remember that nobody is coming to build your life for you. Nobody. But that's okay, because you've got everything that you need to build it inside of you. Brick by brick, step by step, and investment by investment. You have the code, and you will figure it out. Make sure that you're taking the time to listen to yourself and find mentors and listen to those around you. Thanks for listening to Beyond the Blueprint. If today helped you to see value and things a little more clearly, do me a favor. Share this with a friend who needs a reminder that they are worth the investment as well. Until next time, remember that the best version of your life starts with the best version of you. And as always, remember to work hard, be kind to each other, and always remember that I believe in you. Write that down. Thanks so much for listening. Please follow our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And write us a review. We'd love to get your feedback. Beyond the Blueprint is sponsored by Galactic Performance Solutions. It's written and researched by yours truly, Gary Cornwell. Producing and editing is done by the team at Resonate Recordings. Until next time, remember, you do have the answers. You just have to make the effort to find them. I believe in you.